Hello everyone and welcome to another quick look. This is a game called Sound of Drop Fall into Poison. I managed to get a key from this. It's a visual novel game, I guess, by Sekai project, published by aiueoKompany or something like that. It's a mixture of those of all the vowels. So yeah. I don't know anything about this game. It's $12.99 on Steam if you want to buy it. When you start the game up, there's a warning before you start the game. It says grotesque imagery. If you have a weak stomach or a weak heart, you shouldn't play this game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this game. Not gonna lie. Yeah, let's just start. Oh, I love that. Oh, that's a cool title logo. Don't you agree? You should agree. Welcome to Manten Aquarium. I get an achievement for starting the game. That's awesome. Before she realized it, the girl was standing before an imposing door. The girl occasionally came to Manten Aquarium alone. She watched the manta rays. She watched the jellyfish, and finally she decided it was time to go home. Where is this? She had her doubts, but there should be nothing else there except for the aquarium. She assured herself that she had probably wandered off onto a side path. The door before her had a large padlock hanging from it. And just as she had heard, it wasn't locked and merely dangling there. Ooh. The girl drew in a breath. Being locked would usually mean that it was a place that she shouldn't enter. Being open just meant that a staff member had forgotten to lock it, so going in was out of the question. Her curiosity piqued. She was past the point of persuasion. Her imagination ran wild and her mind raced at the prospect of what might lie beyond the door. Just for a little bit. What could be behind the door? She opened the door and saw lots of glass tanks. This is an aquarium, I guess that's not so surprising. Several types of fish hailing from the deep seas, from football fish and oarfish to pelican eels and barrel eyes were swimming about. I'm pretty sure some of those aren't real. Why isn't this an exhibit? She thought it over, wondering why this would be a closed-off area. Behind her, the door shut on its own. Ooh. The girl spaced out, staring at a deep-sea fish swimming about. They would leap from the tank and swim in mid-air. The entirety of the room was the fish in their ocean. Though it was an unnatural occurrence, the girl treated it as quite normal. Wasn't there originally a deep-sea fish booth that was shut down? This is probably it. She suddenly remembered. At that moment, her surroundings were dyed a deep red. The water in the tanks, the first in the lights, all of it was red. The girl's vision also became red. When she opened her eyes, the girl was back in her own room. It was well into the night. She couldn't remember how she'd gotten home after all of that. But more importantly, she had a bad feeling about something else. It isn't red here. She became aware of how hard it suddenly was to breathe. No matter how hard she gasped, she was unable to get oxygen to her body. Like the fish who couldn't breathe anywhere but in the water, she couldn't breathe unless she was inside that red color. She was convinced. On impulse, she threw open the window, leaned out, and thrust a hand outside. She couldn't inhale the wind floating in her room. She could only smell its milky, unpleasant scent. More. At that moment, the girl's body was tossed into the air. For just a second, her body seemed to float like a fish in the sea. Her room was on the 12th floor of her apartment building. In her fading consciousness, the girl watched her blood flow endlessly from her body. It's red. Only then could she breathe. Now everything would be fine. The girl smiled. The full moon in the night sky smiled too. Not sure what to make of this game so far. It's very interesting. Very interesting. It's got my interest, that's for sure. Chirp, chirp. The sound of falling drops. The moon was concealed behind the clouds, and all of the lights in the town were covered in water. The sound of it, the only thing left to resonate. She couldn't tell whether it was hot or cold, mainly that the humid air was encircling her. Wherever they were falling to, wherever they were coming from, the drops just continued to trickle out. That single drop. I stopped it with both hands. The sound of that solitary red drop. We're in class. Yay! All too familiar in VNs. It's a girl. It's another girl. Or at least there's an urban legend that goes like that. Ah, she was telling a story. I get it now. Talking about Manten Aquarium again. That's your new thing, isn't it? While stuffing her lunch to her mouth, Tamagawa Himeno spoke, her eyes sparkling. I had no idea which point in the story got her so excited. That's right! Isn't this the scariest part? That the girl jumped to her death smiling after coming back from Manten Aquarium? It's pretty bad. And you don't seem the least bit scared, Himeno. That's not true. I've got chills running down my spine. Someone who's got chills running down her spine wouldn't be eating a pastry so cheerfully. Hey, that's my meatball. During a break in the conversation, Himeno stole a side dish from my boxed lunch. The bitch. This minced meat from growing calves and little piglets, it's the best. Why do you have to put it like that? Jeez, why do you have to make me lose my appetite? I'll give her the rest of it. Alright, I'll take it. Himeno takes the rest of the meatballs from my lunch with amazing rhythm. No reason that I, Nakanabe Mayumi, lost my appetite wasn't because Himeno's story really scared me. The Manten Aquarium and I are connected in a way that I'd rather not think about. Of course, Himeno has no idea of the connection. If she knew, she'd never mention Manten Aquarium around me again. And at the same time, I've been afraid this thing might cause Himeno to stop talking to me. Himeno is pretty much my only friend. It isn't that I haven't talked to anyone since entering junior high. It's just that the only person I can actually call a friend is Himeno. Seriously, I think this whole Manten Aquarium and her obsession is getting to be a bit much. Maybe. There's so many rumors though, like that there's a man's ghost in the tanks, that the deep sea fish booth is only open on a full moon, that the water changes into blood, or that you can hear crying from behind the tanks. That earlier one goes with this one. Also, no, that's fine. You don't need to say anymore. I say firmly, causing Himeno to make a sour face. Soon after, Himeno changes the subject, first to a TV drama that aired the night before, then to some cute fake nails with cats on them she found in a magazine. She then talks about a classmate who was dating a boy from a nearby private school, alighting on one subject before quickly changing to the next. Normally, the subject of Manten Aquarium shouldn't have popped up again. Anyway, getting back to what we were talking about earlier. Wait, what exactly were we getting back to? Manten Aquarium! I looked into it, and this Sunday will be a full moon. Huh? Well, that was all I could say. The rest of my words unable to come out. So we should go and see if the rumors are true or not. But I don't know. I know you aren't interested in stuff like urban legends, Mayu. But next week we'll start preparing for the end of the semester, and I won't be able to hang out with you. Lately we haven't gone anywhere together, have we? If the full moon was next Sunday, I'm sure Himeno wouldn't have said anything, but I suspect because it happens to be this Sunday and next week happens to be our exams, she's chosen Manten Aquarium. You know that I'm not hiding my confusion or my hesitation very well. Even so, Himeno turns her carefree grin my way. Since it's an aquarium, even if the rumors aren't true, we can still have fun, right? Well, that's true. Usually, anywhere I go with Himeno, I have fun. Whether or not we'd have fun was not what I was worried about. By the way, Mayu, in the east building of the Manten Aquarium, they have Haagen-Dazs. As in the Eden restaurant? They had closed up at one point, but it looks like they're reopening for a limited time. Really? Really? They have the cookies and cream flavor you like too, Mayu. Of course I hesitate, but you know, in the end, that settles it. I can't resist it. Then we'll go. As long as we've definitely got some cookies and cream. Saying you have no money because you did too much shopping is out of the question. I know, after all, I'm something of a glutton myself. Fine, fine. In the end, we settle on Manten Aquarium and ice cream for Sunday. Since I've already received my reward money for moving on to the next grade. Oh man, I get money for moving on to grades, that's awesome. I don't need to worry about my allowance. Still, it's been 5 years. Did you say something, man? No, nothing. I bite my tongue, covering the words that carelessly spilled out. I'm looking forward to the aquarium. It's probably been about 10 years. I'm looking forward to the cookies and cream. It's probably been about 10 years. That's not true. It's the truth. That's the only thing I'll eat there. Amanda goes, you little, as she playfully stretches my cheeks. The end of the lunch chime sounds, and Himeno goes back to her own seat. If it's with Himeno, I'll be fine. That's what I told myself at the time. Interesting. Lots of mysteries surrounding this aquarium. Ooh, which rumors are true? Probably all of them. But we can always speculate. Sunday is 3 days after that. The day I promised to go with Himeno to Manten Aquarium has arrived. We are to meet at noon at the Manten Show station. As is customary for me, I arrive 30 minutes early. Leaning against a pillar, I do nothing but space out. Tons of people pass before me. Manten is really crowded these days. Oh, sorry. Manten is really crowded on days off. Even so, there aren't really that many families or groups of students. Everyone around me appearing to be adults. And because of that, I quickly begin to feel uneasy. Within this crowd, I am alone. Inexplicably, my head begins to hurt. I wonder if Himeno will be here soon. I mutter to myself, then look at my shoes. Deep blue sandal boots that were this year's newest product. When Mom and I had stopped off at a department store on Saturday, she bought them for me after some coaxing on my part. They were far what you'd call high quality, but they were still a bit pricey on a junior high schooler's allowance. I'm not usually the type to beg, but I couldn't take my eyes off these boots. My mom bought them with almost no resistance, saying, you're gonna go out of town, so you need to look your best. I liked both their form and their color, and found them a better fit for the summer season than anything else. I take my cell phone out and check the time. There's still 15 minutes to go until we were to meet. Since Amanda is always 3 minutes later than the time we can establish, I've got about another 20 minutes. I finished reading my paperback on the train, so I have nothing to kill time with. There is nothing I can do about it, so I decided to keep myself from boredom by watching the people passing by. If I don't keep myself distracted, horrible thoughts will revive in my mind. I'm always worrying about what will happen if I'm late, though. It had actually been about a month and a half since Himeno and I had gone out. We always talked at school, but rarely spent time together afterwards. Anyone who saw us probably thought we were opposites. Outings like this aside, I often spend my days off at home. When I was in elementary school, our family would go out often. But lately, that's been limited to dining out on Saturdays. So when I'm asked what I do when I stay home, I usually just say I do nothing. And doing homework and watching TV is stuff that seems pretty common to me. On the other end of the spectrum is Himeno, who goes out regularly. I often hear stories of when she went to karaoke on weeknights, or about how she traveled out of town on Sundays. She's a member of an active sports club and often wants to hang out with them afterwards. Going out of town on the already limited days we have off tends to make me think. Even though it's a day to rest, I don't feel rested at all. In other words, something like this is a difference between Himeno and I. Without much common ground between us. why we became friends is... Suddenly the light fades from my vision. It wasn't just that it had become dark, but that I had the sensation of being unable to breathe. But rather than sweating it, I get a little mad. Ugh! Haha, sorry. Hearing my wordless protest, Amanda pulls her hands away. I get playing the Who Am I game while covering someone's eyes, but covering up someone's mouth too is just like Amanda. When I puff out my cheeks and object, Amanda just smiles at me. It's because you were staring into space, Mayu. Instead of apologizing, Amanda blew on the nape of my neck. Without thinking, I made a weird sound. Embarrassed, I looked around 2 or 3 times, but the pedestrians walking by seemed unperturbed and didn't even look our way. The culprit who had surprised me moves in front of me before I realize it. You're mean, Amanda. But I got to hear something good. No, you didn't. Moreover, you're... As I say that, I check the time on my smartphone. It's 3 minutes to noon. Agreed upon meeting time. It's not time yet. How rare. That's rude. Jeez. I'll make you make a weird noise again. Saying that, Amanda opens and closes her fingers in small, swift, grasping motions. At times like this, I know I'd better change the subject or get messed with by Himeno again. Oh, by the way, did you buy a new one? You mean my necktie? Yes, I did. I thought I should get one to match my shorts. You and I haven't hung out since around midterm, Mayu. If I buy something today, I'll really be out of money. What about the aquarium? You're still set on finding out about the urban legends then? Of course! That's my number one goal. But as usual, I can't count the things I want to do on just one hand. I need at least 2. Okay, I get it. As long as I eat cookies and cream, that is absolute. I haven't forgotten. Anyway, Mayu, aren't you with sandals new? Amanda says that as she looks at my feet, talking about 3 times as fast as she does in class. Yeah, nice, aren't they? They're super cute. How cool, I want a pair too. No, then we'd be too similar. And these are the only pair of sandals I have for the summer. Talking like this puts me at ease. Unlike myself, who is childish, Amanda knows a lot about fashion and trends. Even here in Manten, it seems like she blends in. Most importantly, by being friends with Amanda and constantly chatting, I no longer feel lonely. Oh yeah, Amanda, why did you bring such a huge bag? I'm glad you asked. With a hee-hee, Amanda opens the Boston bag she lets sink down from her shoulder. A variety of things come out, such as a flashlight, insect repellent, a simple blanket, first aid kit, matches, and snacks like chocolates and cookies. What's all this? Amanda, where do you plan on going? Ignoring the twitch developing in my face, Amanda thumps her chest. Geez, to the aquarium! But since we're investigating urban legends, we should at least have some supplies. Rather than an investigation, the equipment she has reminds me more of going camping in the mountains. The snacks and blanket aside, where in a city this size would we need insect repellent or a flashlight? And I keep those feelings to myself and just smiled. I held out a breath that is half exasperated, half amused. I don't get sick of being with Himeno. Whether Himeno is aware of my exasperated gaze or not, she starts to take something out, then quickly shoves it back in. She gives me a smile, implying some secret. No, wait, it's too soon for you to see that. What were you about to pull out? I'm not telling. Upon saying that, Amanda quickly closes the bag. The way I see it, it is a wonder she fit all the supplies she had out just a moment ago. I wonder where it's all being stored. By the way, no club today. I ask with the underlying question of whether or not today is a day off for the club. At my question, Amanda averts her eyes. Nope. Probably no club today. Really? Given a brief answer, I started walking. Upon hearing her reply, I immediately understand it as, she skipped it again. But not wanting to ruin the merry mood, I merely quickened my pace. I'm not in any clubs, but even I know it's not good to skip. Speaking honestly, I want her to show up for her club, as she seems to be respected even by students from other schools. Coming here together like this makes me equally guilty, though. Once I get thinking, I don't usually stop, so the conversation shifts to a ramen shop that catches my eye. Oh, Mayu, do you want to get lunch? Huh? Caught that? But as if she's seen right through me, we head into a nearby coffee shop. It is apparently famous for a lot. It is apparently famous following its coverage in a magazine for a sandwich that was overflowing with vegetables. I say apparently because on excitedly finding the restaurant, Himeno shared this. Compared to a hamburger shop, this place is a bit intimidating and trendy to me. But since I'm with Himeno, it doesn't bother me. Shoving the roast chicken sandwich with extra olives that I ordered into my mouth, the unease I have begin feeling disappears. In contrast to my fervor, Himeno eats her avocado and shrimp sandwich in small bites. That sounds absolutely disgusting. Well then, about our plans for today. Himeno starts in as soon as we have finished eating. We'll start with the aquarium naturally. No matter what, that's the main thing. So we'll look into the old man's ghost and the closed-off deep-sea fish booth rumors. After that, we'll go to the shops and finally have some ice cream. I think it's better to get the cookies and cream first. If you eat 2 times, you'll mess up your stomach and get fat. You don't want to get fat, do you? You won't be able to wear a bathing suit. It's not fair for you to put it that way. It isn't fair. Himeno is in the exercise club, so she will be fine. But for someone like me who doesn't exercise enough, it makes me stop and think. Having said I wanted to go to the pool, it is all the more important. Okay then, we'll stick with my plan. That was a delicious meal. Urged on by Himeno, I decided to leave the ice cream shop for another time. Damn, I really wanted ice cream. Talking about silly things together, we leave the station behind. As opposed to the station's excellent cooling system, the city streets have a peculiar humidity and heat to them that envelops our bodies. Beginning of July. Summer has only just begun, and I can already tell it's going to be a tough one. We weave our way through the crowds until we are 10 minutes away from the station, finally ending up in front of a skyscraper. The building is a symbol for the people of Manten, a combined facility for commerce, what you might call a fashion building in reference to the businesses it contains. Manten is a town known as a place people go for amusement. If you really want to have a good time, they have a movie theater, arcades, and several shops, even though you need to have money. Because of that, young men and women are more numerous than boys and girls. In this town of people older than us, Himeno scans the panels for each floor without fear, saying, the aquarium is... People are concentrated around the panels. Of little help to Himeno in trying to take us up as little space as possible, I leave the search to her and gaze up at the building. I look up and up, but the tower of the building is so far I think my neck will snap. That's magnificent. This building was not built long after I was born. It had been finished before I could walk, but the first and only time I came here was in elementary school. The instant I think back on my first visit, my head begins to hurt. No, I have to try not to think about it. Those are things from long ago, things from the past, things that are done. I can do nothing but deal with the pain that feels as if something is pressing against the inside of my skull. I finally hear Himeno call me in a loud voice. The elevator's this way, come on! I push away my headache and step through the automatic door. The information at the entrance and the placement of the crane game are exactly the same as that day, giving me a slightly bad feeling. From the elevator landing, we need to head for the top floor of the separate Manten East building. The elevator is the type that has a glass window so you can see out. That's the only thing that's distracting me from my gloom. A crowd of people get on with us, but almost all of them are gone by the time we reach the floor that contains the aquarium. They probably stopped off at the apparel or sundry shops. It isn't that we aren't interested, but Himeno recommends it's crowded now, so let's come back when it's less busy. And that keeps us back, deciding to stick with the plans we made back at the coffee shop. Stepping onto our floor, the atmosphere immediately switches to a lively one. The sounds of chatter are drowned out by the roar of a large fan. The lighting is dim and tinted slightly blue. The windows are also covered, giving the feeling that it has suddenly become night. As this is an aquarium, it makes sense that the concept is based around the ocean. Yes, the pungent smell of salt is a major change. Amazing! It's like we've dived into the deep sea. That's what I thought too. Instead of being targeted as families lately, it seems more like a date spot for adults. Or at least that's what the magazine said, but it's true. Even though this is my second time coming here, it feels like the first time. Next to the entrance is the souvenir shop. One lacks the usual boisterous voices. It appears to be a place that can be reached both from the inside and outside, but it doesn't seem to get many customers. Just as Himeno had said, the aquarium seems to target adults. In an atmosphere like that, even Himeno looks nervous. Hey, Mayu. What's up? I forgot to tell you one important thing. Himeno makes a mysterious face and brings her mouth up to him. What? Did you drop your wallet or something? No, that's not it. This is something that I heard that is a bit of an urban legend, but they say the amount of people going missing is on the rise. There's a rumor that this month alone the number of missing is well into the double digits. Huh? We have this conversation in front of the metal rack that holds the map of the aquarium. Aside from the map, there is a guide to Manten East buildings and information about affiliated hotels. During that time, we hear the sound of the elevator opening and closing, and not see the people going into the aquarium. Manten used to be a shopping district, right? That seems to be why. Even if there were a lot of runaways, the media wouldn't pay much attention. But supposedly many of the missing persons had stopped off at Manten Aquarium. That rumor, who did you hear it from? Oh, indeed. No one in particular. You know how rumors start. Start. At Himeno's words, I feel a cold shiver along my spine. Regardless of how credible the rumor is, a sense of dread shoots through me. Considering my past, it's natural that I would feel connected to missing persons in my age range, especially if they're runaways. If that is the case, it would send chills along the back of my neck. Why on earth? You could have told me before this. Well, I thought if you heard about it, Maya, you might not have wanted to come. Oh, so you forgetting to tell me it was a lie that you will. I had intended to protest firmly, but it still ended rather anticlimactic. Ghosts may exist, and they may still be unable to come back, but that doesn't mean I'm not interested in visiting places where they are. This is proof that Himeno has her own strange interests, yet it still makes me feel even more worried. This rumor has a continuation. Specifically, people who saw the deep-sea fish booth never came home. Himeno relays those two pieces of information that frightened me with a smile. The rumor itself aside, she wanted to pass over the question of why people were able to see the closed-up deep-sea fish booth in the first place, not wanting to discuss it at all. Wait a minute, Himeno? Something else is tied up beneath that fear. Something about the aquarium and the missing persons who didn't come home. That was essentially. Are you okay, Maya? Sorry, I guess I scared you a bit too much. I think the story's pretty exaggerated, so don't worry about it. I heard it's a fun aquarium. I think we should take those stories with a grain of salt, right? Though her kindness is misdirected, its kindness just the same. Having involuntarily sat down, I take the hand Himeno extends to me. As I slowly rise to my feet, I respond. Yeah, you're right. To think that I would hear of a connection to my precious memory in a place like this. It's strange. After 5 years, the memory should have faded. I tell myself this, then let out a small sigh. Amanda was actually showing concern, so I sit down on a bench in the rest area next to the souvenir shop. Amanda even brings me a can of cocoa. As I'm drinking it, she buys her tickets. With her doing all this, I have to go with her. Are you okay, miss? The fact that I'm thinking thoughts like this canned cocoa is a little weak is proof that I'm cooling down. As I'm starting to feel better, a male voice calls out to me. While holding my half-finished cocoa, I turn in the direction the voice came from. Rather than the boy's voice I expect, it belongs to an adult, so I respond timidly. I'm okay, so... Oof, no need to be so vigilant. He's wearing a gray knit cap and brown running shirt. He's tall, even for a guy, so I have to look up at him. His build is almost all muscle and my shoulders shudder a bit in surprise. He appears well over the age of 20, so I can think of a reason he would want to talk to us. And then he realizes I'm looking at him or not, he plunks down right next to me. Even after he sits down, we aren't sitting at the same height. Pretending to fix my posture, I move away from him a little. Are you not feeling well? I'm fine. Thanks to my nerves and my wariness, I end up speaking unnaturally fast. Moreover, if he really is a kind person, I might end up abusing his good intentions. How cold. It figures. I say again without thinking. Without my knowing what he's so happy about, the man's mouth loosens into a grin. You're pretty clever. I give up. But you know, I seriously am worried about you. Your face is pale and all. His kind words taking me by surprise, I avert my eyes. For some reason, I become strangely embarrassed, and begin tapping my index finger on my can of cocoa. Well, that aside, since you came to have fun, let me show you around. Oh, we are really just fine. Those words go on so naturally, they surprise even me. Now I become a complete idiot, and my eyes meet his. I work part-time in this building, so I'm familiar with it. In this area, that is. Hey, what are you doing? Himeno. I gasp and look up. Himeno was there carrying 2 tickets and some pamphlets. With her hands on her hips and her cheeks puffed out, Himeno glares at the man with narrowed eyes. I think the only ones allowed to hit on junior high schoolers would be high schoolers. No, I'm not trying to hit on anyone. This girl doesn't look done well, is all. Mayu, what happened? No response. Not knowing how to respond, I stay silent. On seeing that I'm troubled, he turns to Himeno, who has entered his field of vision. Upon doing so, Himeno objects with a hey! See, you can't trust someone who just says kind things. Are you speaking from personal experience? No. And what are you coming at me like that for, Mayu? Hey, mister, please don't make such a weird face. Mister! Himeno mutters, facing the man's chest. On hearing her say mister and giving me a puzzled look, the man shows us the plastic name tag hanging from his neck. Ah, I must have forgotten to take this off. Amanda, speaking of which, he did say he works part-time in this building. Ah, then is that his entry card or something? He slaps his knee and rises to his feet. He probably played some kind of sport or something because the movement as he stands looks so effortless. I'm Hiyoshi Kenji. I work part-time at the shop downstairs. With this entry card, I can get into Manten Aquarium at a discount. Is it a company employee discount? Something like that. I'm not exactly a company employee, but I get in a half off. I get in a half off anyway, so I come here often. Really, that is quite unexpected for you, mister. Well, when you become older, you'll crave these soothing experiences as well. And I'm not old enough to be a mister. Now, he says. Compared to us, you're definitely old enough to be a mister. Yoshi-san grimaces angrily and sniffs in a self-depreciating manner. He appears to be a little older than a college student, so calling him old enough to be mister is probably rude, but Himeno only said the impression he gave was pretty close. With the aquarium as a shared point of interest, Himeno's attitude towards Hiyoshi softens. As proof, Himeno talks with Hiyoshi-san about the shops in this building. I don't really know a lot about brands, so I sip my remaining cocoa and listen from the outside. My iced cocoa had become lukewarm cocoa. Aww. Well, Mister, are you also well versed in urban legends? On hearing Amano's question, my head pops up in surprise. The corners of Yoshi's mouth lift into a grin. That's rather unexpected for you as well. So you're interested in such things? Of course I am. You're only young one, so you have to satisfy your curiosity. Looking into the closed-down deep-sea fish booth. There's a rumor that it's open on the day of the full moon. Do you know anything about it? Yoshi places his hand on his chin and looks down. Grunting loudly, he glances at me, looks over at the entrance, and finally turns to Amano and opens his mouth. I think you need to give up on that one thing. Naturally, since I'm a regular here, I often hear rumors like there are spirits floating in the tanks, or every time a person dies, the jellyfish tank increases by one, and so on. I may know the story you mentioned shouldn't be anything more than one of those rumors, but stop dancing around it and just tell me. Previously, I knew someone who went looking into this just as you girls are doing now. I may know. You went missing soon after. Without thinking about it, I joined their conversation. If someone has gone missing here at Manten Academy, it holds significance for me as well. Is that for real? I glance back in surprise. Amano's still looking at him with doubt in her eyes. Yoshi listens to what Amano said and with a playful smile responds, Just kidding, it's a lie. I wonder if it is a lie. Because of the words he muttered, my curiosity has been piqued. I can't imagine the tense face he made as he told the story of an acquaintance who went missing being faked. That's right, but if that's the case, then this really might interest you, Maya. I thought from the beginning that it would be better just to give up. No way, I already brought the tickets anyway. Amano's face shows that she's enjoying herself to the end, and she takes my arm to gently pull me closer to her. This was the signal that she was ready to go, and in my mind I prayed that nothing would happen. Well then, want to walk around with me? Yeah, alright. That's fine. Oh, how surprising how quick you got in a good mood. Yoshi snaps his fingers and rushes to her side. Out, out. As she says this, Amano steps in front of me and makes a big X mark with both hands. Maya, don't be tricked by an old guy like him. He uses kind words to get close to you, but he's thinking weird things inside his mind. Amano, that's not cool at all. It's not it. What do you mean by weird things, Amano? Well, Yoshi narrows his eyes and grins widely. He glosses over my question and asks, What, Amano? For some reason, Amano's face goes red and she grabs me tightly by the wrist. Sexual harassment. Definitely sexual harassment, Miss G. Without giving Yoshi a second look, Amano drags me to the gate. Yoshi smiles and shrugs his shoulders. The aquarium entrance is so dark that we can't see in front of us until we're inside. I can feel the cold air on my skin. I get a sensation of something heavy, causing me to rub my arm. Naturally, there is no mark indicating something has touched me. I'm called back by me and goes, Hey, let's go! I pass my ticket through the machine. It figures that the whole if you come on the day of the full moon, all the water will change into blood thing is a lie. That water's normal. Of course it is. Jeez. By the way, Amano says so regretfully. Even so, she's still unable to hold back her excitement at having come to the aquarium, and her steps are fitting in light. As we come out of the gate, there are several small tanks nearby. Manten's Aquarium, first and most celebrated exhibit, is the one displaying fish native to Tokyo Bay. There are 4 tanks in this corner from left to right, each one showing the environments of the river flowing into Tokyo Bay. Brackish water, shoals, and open water come one right after the other. Amano giggles as rockfish, porgy, and other fish you recognize from the supermarket are also there. Hey, I used to eat you. This booth also showcases environmental problems in order to prompt consciousness of the issue, causing a tightening in my chest. Water pollution is a serious problem. Tomorrow I think I'll try asking Mom to use a little less detergent. Suddenly it's gotten like this. Amano's reaction is the polar opposite of mine. Even as I'm reading the panel sheets, I'm interested in the display. Just like that, I read every last panel. Amano has long since stopped watching me, crossing her arms and puffing out her cheeks. Thanks for waiting, Amano. Jeez, you're too serious, Mario. You act like that the whole time, the day will be over, or they'll close. It'll be fine. The area isn't that big, and it's not like I'm gonna read everything. As she hears what I said, an expression of dissatisfaction appears on Ameno's face. Well, let's head to the next area. Next is the tunnel tank. There might be ghosts. Oh, maybe that'll be with the human-like fish? Jeez, come on already. Even saying something like that, upon entering the aquarium, I had begun to enjoy myself. Upon cheerfully calling out to Ameno, my previous unease has disappeared, leaving me ready to move forward with a light step. Amazing. Really amazing and pretty. With no door to partition this booth and the next, passing beside the tank took us to the next one, where larger breeds of fish swim about. This is no ordinary tank, but rather a giant tube-like tunnel, with the left and right sides connected above our heads in an arc. As we walk through the tunnel, we're able to watch the fish moving about in 3 dimensions. We bring our faces as close as we can to the glass, giving the illusion that we're in the ocean. Just watching the mantas, the rays, the various types of sharks, and the sea turtles can be intoxicating for us humans. When I was a child, I thought the sternum might crack, but now I pass that feeling up, leaving only the throbbing of my heart. The water is a giant bundle of blue, various colors within it shooting every which way. Being able to see how big they are close, separated by mere centimeters of glass, is so impressive it gives me the greatest realization of our shared existence. Here, Amanda's pace slows and she takes her steps one by one. Hey May, look at those huge fangs. I know, that fish is cute too. Oh, this stingray's face is creepy. No, I don't think it's cute. Ah, the manta is huge. That little one over there looks yummy. Talking as the words come out to us, our conversation seems out of sync. Our feelings of being touched, however, are the same, and Amanda's enjoyment is obvious. Being surrounded by the water and the fish as we are, we feel as though we're free from any sense of time. Mayu, doesn't this race face like human? Maybe so. It does! It does! The mystery of the human-faced fish is solved! Naturally. Well, if you're okay with it, then so am I. Thus we learn the true nature of one of the urban legends. That was fine either way, but for Ameno, this way is probably best. Though from Ameno's enthusiastic stance, even as she watches the fish, she probably realizes just how implausible it all is. Rather than get tired of it though, I'm having fun. We move leisurely through the tunnel, coming to a stop at the center. Up to this point, only the big things have caught our eyes, but on closer inspection of the tank there's also sand piled up to our knees with shrimp, shellfish, and small fish and other such creatures dwelling there. Compared to the manta rays, the small shrimp, which can't even be considered child-sized, seem so cute and innocent as they swim about breaking through the sand. Hey look, Ameno. Ah, it's tiny. As I expected, Ameno has followed the human-faced ray, and on seeing my fingertip speaks in a playful tone. Upon sensing the tremors from Ameno's poking the glass, the ray kicks at the sand and flees deeper into the tank. Man, it's gone now. As I say this to Ameno, I smile at a small shrimp. Ameno does the same, smiling widely. Before long, the two of us are looking up at the ceiling, toying with the question of just how high it is. Even looking up, we can only see the fish swimming, never the ceiling itself. Looking up from the bottom of the sea, one would normally see the rays of sun piercing the water, but looking up here was the opposite, with the bottom of the sea seeming to continue forever. It could have been the reflection of the light, or the ceiling really might have been too high. As I realized, I can't be so sure. My eyes settle on a small but characteristically long-nosed shark swimming past. Sharks! Sharks? That's a ray, isn't it? You just saw from behind earlier. As soon as I mutter that, Ameno responds. It's true that although I'm interested in this type, Ameno is fixated on the human-faced ray. Huh? What's up? Ameno asked, but I faltered. This conversation gives me a sense of what you might call deja vu. How strange. It felt as if I've had this conversation before. At that moment, my vision has died ultramarine. Who's that? Huh? It was no longer Ameno in front of me, but someone else that had caught my attention. This can't be real. Hey, Mayu! The ultramarine color unchanged. Within it, a face like mine passes before me. A face like mine from 5 years ago. wearing an ultramarine overcoat that merges with the color of my vision. The girl turns to me and seems to be giving me a gentle smile. Mayu, wait! Without hearing Himeno calling me back, I start running. We haven't finished looking at everything in the tube tunnel tank, but there's something more important right now in front of me. Long hair that looks almost transparent, a thick blue coat, cute boots with fur on them. There was no way I couldn't forget that outfit. That's because it was the outfit my little sister, Nakanobe Mari, wore when she went missing her 5 years ago. The girl quickens her pace as if playing with me and disappears out the other side of the tunnel. There are hardly any people there, but I lose sight of her between the shadows of the tank in the corner. Mary? How? Why? Hey, Mayu, wait! Breathing heavily, Himeko chases after me. I say sorry and break away from her, searching for the vision of Mari. As I climb out of the tunnel, I survey the area. Spotting a winter skirt nearby, I chase after that swaying form. Behind me, I can hear the intensity of Himeno's rushing steps and quicken my pace. Kya! Having fallen into a trance, I realize what's going on when I slam into someone and fall on my backside. The girl clicks her tongue as she picks up what she had dropped. As I start to say excuse me to her, she's already moving past me and running off somewhere. Because of that brief incident, I'm unable to find my way out of my confusion. Anyway, Mary. I feel so bad about the person I'd run into, causing me to feel flustered in that exchange. I lost sight of both that long hair and that long skirt. But you were going this way, right? I'm not sure where I'm running to, but I think you can say I'm definitely running with all my heart. I pass between more tanks than I can remember, but I don't pay them one bit of attention. I just continue following Mary's back, running. Mary's just as bashful as she was the day she disappeared. Mayu, get a hold of yourself! Those few words end my chase. To be more accurate, it was ended by Himeno herself who grabbed my wrist. Huh? You suddenly took off and you wouldn't turn around no matter how many times I called you. Even when you dropped something, you had no idea. What happened all of a sudden? Wait, Himeno, if I can go after Mari, I'll explain everything, so... Hold it! I look back at Himeno upon hearing her extremely hurt voice. I see tears forming in Himeno's eyes, and I turn my whole body to face her. I stand in silence like this for several seconds. If I tell Himeno about Mary, I'm sure she will regret bringing me to Manten Aquarium. When she followed me, she had to have seen Mary. It's natural that she would have some misgivings about me chasing some total stranger since she doesn't know Mary. Even so, I'm not sure what to say. If I apologize now and play dumb, we can probably go back to playfully searching the aquarium for information. But that is not something I can do. It isn't the similarities that are the problem. Mary's here, and just as she'd been on that date, there's no way I can go home without taking her with me. Mayu, tell me what's going on. Who is Mary? Why do you keep running off without saying anything? Tears are pouring out of Himeno's eyes. I can't understand why she's so sad. But still, my little sister. My little sister. She was here. Little sister? See, the girl I was chasing, she's my little sister. Mary disappeared 5 years ago at this aquarium. Looking at Himeno's tear-stained face, I no longer feel like hiding anything. Perhaps in the depths of my consciousness, I'm hoping Himeno will become satisfied and say she wants to look for Mary with me. I'll explain in more detail later. On top of that, when I look back once more, Himeno squeezes my hand and holds me back. This is the gentlest but the strongest that she's held my hand. Himeno stares into my eyes, then tilts her head to the side. What do you mean? You were chasing someone? I told you, that little girl that was in front of me, wearing the ultramarine coat and the boots, remember? That was Mary, exactly how she looked long ago. Mayu, snap out of it! Himeno shouts. It isn't simply a loud voice, but one weighed down with great sadness. It definitely gets through to me, but that doesn't mean it'll stop me. Because without a doubt, I was right. Mary had been right before my eyes, so I had to chase. Let's just say that even if this Mary girl is here, she would have grown in 5 years, and her clothes wouldn't be the same. It's summer, so why would she wouldn't be wearing a coat? Moreover, she was here. I saw her. No, Mayu, no. You weren't chasing anyone. You just took off running, leaving me behind, okay? Could you just be calmed down for a bit? Our tickets will get us back in, so how about some cocoa in the rest area? I think you're tired since you were a little shaky earlier. I guess she's pretty frantic, so I know she isn't just lying to persuade me. But there's no way that my seeing Marie was a lie. That's why I start to speak without really knowing what I want to say. Maino. Mayu. Okay? Wiping away her tears, Maino smiles at me. It shows she has plenty of strong feelings about this whole thing. I'm sure she has loads to say about me keeping the married thing and my reason for resisting visiting Manten Aquarium quiet. Even so, it seems as though Maino has accepted me. She just smiles and lets it go. That's probably right. Surely if we're by the entrance, we'll know if Mary comes up. Mayu, that's good. That's right. That's more like you. Let's go have some cocoa and you can tell me everything. And she smiles and Maino once again takes my hand into her soft palm. Oh, that's right, you dropped this. Gotta be more careful. With the hand that isn't holding my own, she hands me something small. The keychain. The blue droplet shape is inlaid with stardust and also holds a starfish charm. It isn't exactly rare being a giveaway item, but why did Maino have it? Only questions arise in my mind. Why? When that keychain was. While thinking about it, I instinctively shake off Maino's hand. Hey, what are you doing after I picked it up for you and all? Maino's voice is like an arrow piercing through me. Pain in my chest is nothing more than discomfort. What is Maino saying? This isn't mine, so I can't possibly have dropped it. Now I can't look at Maino's face. Liar. Huh? Liar? That's not mine. It isn't something I dropped it. It was Mari's. Mari dropped it. That can't be. I'm not lying. Really, there was no Mari-chan, so she couldn't have dropped the keychain. Maino was becoming gruff as she continued. Really, isn't it you who's lying? No one. No one else is here. That's enough, Maino, dummy. Saying only that, I turned my back on Maino. When I glanced back, Maino's shocked expression was getting further away. She was there. Or had definitely been there. Because the keychain that Maino had, it belonged to Mari. There was no way I could forget it. It was just before Mari went missing. Alrighty guys, I'm going to end that video here. And if you want to check it out, I'll have links in the description for the game. Like I said, it is $12.99 on Steam, so you know it is a little pricey, but not too bad. It got excellent reviews apparently from the Steam reviews. It looks like a good game all around, and yeah, if you're interested in something a little different, it looks like, give it a try. You might enjoy it. Take it easy, guys.